All right, so for our first learning machine program, what we need is TensorFlow and then Google Colab. Okay, so let's just check first what is TensorFlow. Okay, so what is TensorFlow? So TensorFlow is a free and open software library for machine learning and artificial intelligence. Now, Google Colab, I'm not sure if I could enlarge this, but say for example, for Google Colab, for example, for text documents, we use MS Word, we use Google Docs. For example, for spreadsheets, we use MS Excel, numbers in Mac, or for example, we also use Google Sheets. Now, for Google Colab, this is another application for Python programming. Okay, so Python is a programming language in which what we're going to use to program our first machine learning program. Okay, so let's open up Google Colab. Colab, this is free. So just go to Google Colab, right? And then click on this one. There we go. All right. And if you would see, let's just create a new notebook. Okay. All right. So there we go. So mine is loading. Let's rename our Python application as, let's say, my first machine learning program. Okay. So first things first here, you could add your code and then you could also add the text to separate your code. All right. So let's add a text cell. And let's say, for example, I want to import TensorFlow in my Python, Python or Google Colab notebook. Okay, my Python program or in my Colab notebook. Right? If you want, you could format this one, which is highlight and so on. There we go. All right. And over here, let's put this down. So, oops, oh, it's gone. There we go. All right. Okay. So I think that's not possible. So let's add a code. So import TensorFlow in my Python program. All you have to do now is to type in import. What I want to import, TensorFlow. Okay. And then we also add as TF. This could be any name, but think of TF as a nickname for TensorFlow flow whenever we want to call the program. Okay, so TF is a nickname, okay, or a shortcut name whenever we want to use TensorFlow in our codes. Okay. Notice I added a hashtag here. The hashtag here is a comment. The program does not read that one. And then let's just check our TensorFlow program. So print, when we say print, it basically outputs something in the program. Okay, so print, and I want to know the version, tf dot version. And let's see if I run this one. Okay, so this is taking a while, so let me just pause the video. All right, so I'm using version 2 of TensorFlow. It was taking a while because if you're trying to do it on your computer, you might see here a word that says connecting. It just connects to the TensorFlow program. But if you want a more detailed version, just put two underscores here. Okay, two underscores and TensorFlow version. I'm using 2.9.2. All right, so let's first create our input. Let's add the text, and I want to now create an input. Okay, so a range of data, say for example, I want it to be negative 100, negative 98, negative 90, what else? 96, and so on. All right, so how do we do this? How do I create a range of data? All right, so let's create now a code, and then remember, um, our input, all right, our input is I want a range. So TF, I'll copy this, EF dot range, and then let's say negative 100 to 100. Okay? And then comma 4. So what does this do? This one creates a range of data, from negative 100 to positive 100 with an increment of 4. All right? So now let's just see. What I want to see here is let's print, and let's see what's going to happen. Print input. All right? Let's save this one. Let's run this one, and let's see. All right, so negative 100, negative 6, negative 92, negative 98, and so on. Okay? So there we go. So if you want, for example, with a range of 2, you could just say this one, and let's say, okay, negative 98, 96, and so on. So I'll go back to 4. And for our input, okay, I'll just change this to X. This could be any name. There we go. All right? X would be our input. Now, what I want here, let me just pause the video while I draw something. Okay. So over here, I have the X, which is, if you would see here, it's the same. I have negative 100, negative 96, negative 92, negative 88, negative 84, negative 80, and so on. Right? So these are the input of my X here. So this is my X input, okay? X input. Let's say, for example, in my X axis. Now for my Y axis, what I want is from negative 100, I'm gonna add now, let's say, which is X plus 10. All right, so negative 100, this would be negative 90, and then this would be negative 96 plus 10, that would be negative 86. And you know the drill. For example, negative 80, so x plus 10, that would be negative 70. So I also want to create now a y input, all right, with an increment for each input of x, I would add now a plus 10. So in order for me to do that, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so this is in the wrong order. Just put this up. There we go. Okay. I'm going to also create now another input for y. Y is equal to, we have this one, we have x plus 10. So I'll copy this, x, okay, oops, x plus 10. Okay, and let's try to print that one. And let's see what it shows us. There we go. So this is my x, okay, my x input and my y input. All right. Now, what I want now here, okay, before we go to the next lesson is I want to plot this one. I want to plot this x and y input into a graph so that we can visualize them. Okay, so we can visualize them. Okay, so let's just plot this in a graph, and I'll see you in the next lesson.